What's up, gamers? Gamer Rant here with some rant news. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on the PS4 4K. Square Enix rumored to possibly be creating more Final Fantasy 15 Ultimate Collector's Editions. And let's talk about Anita Sarkeesian's ordinary women daring to defy history because someone has to destroy these idiocracies. Alright, so the link to stuff I'm talking about is in the description box below. So let's real quickly touch on Anita Sarkeesian, Ordinary Woman Daring to Defy History. Her current video campaign is at $156,076. And when you look at somebody's like Amazing Atheist, his campaign, which is actually designed to help real women, it's at $107,182. So my quick thoughts here is, it's kind of sad that we have an individual who lays claim that she is doing this for the better of women, and yet time and time again she has done absolutely, really, honestly nothing for women. Where are her campaigns for saving and fundraising money to actually help real women, be they in the United States or be they in another country? Because she hasn't done it. It seems more like Anita Sarkeesian is all about helping herself as a woman as opposed to actually helping women wherever they may be and actually need it in the world. So there's my thought. It's actually pretty sad that we have a bunch of people that are willing to give her money for a stupid-ass video series and yet a fundraising campaign. There's others out there besides the Amazing Atheists that are actually going to help real women, but yet a bunch of dumbasses would rather give their money for a stupid-ass video series that isn't going to help real women. That's what I feel about that. Alright, next up, let's talk about Square Enix. Final Fantasy 15 Ultimate Collector's Edition. So basically, the article in the description box below iterates to the greater gratification that that it sold out in minutes, and like somebody from Square Enix came and they're like, yes, it sold relatively fast, we'll see what we can do. And then people from that have taken that into context that, oh, we may make more of these. But at the end of the day, it's like, what's the fucking point? What's the fucking point of creating a collector's edition with a limited run only to create more simply because you got a bunch of gamers that couldn't get their hands on it? That's the whole purpose of a collector's edition, is to be limited. I mean, when you actually go to the Square Enix website and just look at their collector's editions, they have a lot of collector's editions that you can still purchase that came out, a few years ago. And you can still purchase them to this day, and that's because, one, they made too many of them. What's the point of creating a collector's edition if it doesn't have a limited run in the first place? It makes absolutely no sense. But now, because we have a popular game or franchise that has a collector's edition, all of a sudden it's okay to go against the grain of it should be a limited run, which is the whole purpose of a collector's edition, to not be a limited run, to appease the people. It just doesn't make any motherfucking sense to me. Now, when it comes to collector's editions in general, I don't really care for them. I've only actually bought in a few collector's editions because it's really based on what they get. Like, I bought the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD remake because I wanted the soundtrack. That's the only reason why I got that particular collector's edition. Not the Mortal Kombat X, but the Mortal Kombat before that came out with a collector's edition. It was only $99.99. The main reason why I got that is because it comes with 2 bookends. Yes, I'm a book nerd, so I have a ton of books, and I needed some bookends, and what better way, in my opinion, to, have some kind of nerdy fucking bookend. So that's the main reason why I bought the collector's edition, was not necessarily for the game, but mostly because so I could get the bookends. But even the problem with collector's editions within of themselves is, my opinion, collector's editions should be released after the game. So the game comes out, it's a success, it's popular, whatever the case may be. So then they're going to be like, all right, let's create a collector's edition. It's going to come with this extra stuff. In my opinion, like, here's a behind-the-scenes DVD, Blu-ray, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of how the game was made. Really involve the gamer into the development process. Not just, oh, hey, here's an art book, here's the soundtrack, here's a fucking statue. Dive more in depth to it than just that. Not to mention to the iteration here, as I was getting at, after the game has come out, simply because to me that's more logical. Because the way I look at Collector's Edition, how they're done in this modern generation, it's like pre-order bonus DLC. All they're doing is creating a Collector's Edition so that you have an incentive to go and pre-order the game. That's what it is. All of the extra stuff that comes in any Collector's Edition in this modern generation is exactly like pre-order DLC. It is nothing but an incentive to get you to pre-order the game. In my opinion, an honest, true Collector's Edition would come out after the game and feed upon the popularity of that game. Like if Bethesda wanted to create a Skyrim Collector's Edition right now, even though it's been years, I still think that a ton of people, a decent amount of people, would actually go and purchase a Collector's Edition for Skyrim, even though it's been years since the game has come out, because they could do a lot with it. And and you're not talking about an incentive to go get the game. You're talking about incentive that you've already played the game, and now they want to create this Collector's Edition to reward gamers and maybe to dive even further, behind the scenes of how the game was made. But that's just my thought and opinion on how Collector's Editions should be. Alright, and then we're going to jump to the PS4 4K. The PS4 4K. Overall, it's not really that exciting in my opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, I see it as just another improvement in technology to create more graphic horrors. I mean, how many 2D-based games have we seen released on the home consoles? No, digital releases do not count. I'm talking about physical copies. Oh, yes, and another thing that doesn't count is physical copies that contain a collection of 2D-based games. Those do not count either. I'm talking about an original, brand new 2D game released on a home console, even by a bigger company such as Capcom, Square Enix, Activision, so on and such forth. Everyone is so fed into this pretty looking graphics, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with a game that looks good and appealing, but you can still create a 2D based game that looks good and is appealing on the home console. But every gamer and developer seems to have this in their mindset that, 2D games only belong on the handheld system or a mobile device. I've actually stated this in previous videos when talking about backwards compatibility. So if the PlayStation 4 was backwards compatible, besides the fact that you'd be able to play PlayStation all the way to PlayStation 3, obviously PlayStation 4 games, on the PS4, it would also give developers an opportunity, if PlayStation allowed it, to continue to develop games for their older systems. And I mean literally continue to develop games for their older systems. So if a company wants to produce a PlayStation game, not only will that game work on your PS4, but it will also work on an actual PlayStation console. To me, that's money right there. Why? Because developing a PlayStation 4 game, PlayStation 1 game, is going to be cheaper than a new company trying to produce a PlayStation 4 game. Or a PlayStation 3 game. Same concept with a PlayStation 2 here. There's opportunity there. So that's how I see this opportunity. Because me personally, I'm not really big on... Battery died. So as I was saying, I'm not really big on graphics. So to me, that's an opportunity right there. So when it comes to the whole 4K thing, it's nice. But at the end of the day, to me, it's just going to create more graphic horrors. Now whether you disagree or agree with me, I guess we'll differ on that particular subject. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about everything that I talked about in some fashion or that thereof, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.